What's going on, folks? Ted from Immersion here, and let's dive in with another subclass of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. We are finishing out the druids with what is probably, without a doubt, my favorite druid that I've seen so far. This also may be my favorite piece of art. Maybe not, but definitely one of my favorite subclass art in the entire book is the Circle of Wildfire Druid. I've been in love with this subclass ever since it came out in October of 2019. And I actually wanted to play it in a game, and I had a DM tell me no, so that kind of sucked. Like a one shot, and they just said no, so that was a bummer. Anyway, before we dive into that and why I like it and the sweet art that exists, a couple of things. I'm very close to 60,000 subscribers now, which is all thanks to all of you coming out and supporting the channel, and I really, really do appreciate that. My super lofty goal is to hit 100,000 by my birthday next July. Maybe you guys can make that happen. I don't know. But if you do like what I do here and you want to stay up to date, subscribing is the best way to do that. Also, check the links in the video description. There's a giveaway to win copies of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. And there is also a viewer-defined Top 10 Tuesday coming out this Tuesday, where you guys will tell me your top 10 magic items. I'll sort through the thousands of lines of data, come up with that information, and then try to speculate as to why you picked what you picked. But that's enough of that. Let's dive in. So right is Unearthed Arcana, left is Circle of Wildfire. This is the art that I was referencing. I just love this art. So this, I didn't even realize that this was a dwarf. I love everything about this art. I also like that she chose to make her Wildfire Spirit kind of look like a fox. I love the pine cone kind of floating spell focus. I don't know. Just everything about that art I love. I love it. So first of all, what's interesting is you get circle spells. So we kind of had seen this. This was an interesting concept back in the beginning. We had only seen... originally, it was just the Circle of Land Druid got circle spells, and that was kind of their whole thing, because we had the Circle of Land, and then we had the Moon Druid, and then we later got the Circle of the Shepherd Druid, and that was, that didn't have extra spells, but then we got the Spores Druid, and it had extra spells, and then we saw the Circle of Wildfire Druid in the Unearthed Arcana, and it had extra spells, but then the Circle of Stars didn't, so it was like, what are we doing? Are we giving them extra spells? Are we not? Then we saw extra spells getting added to things like the Sorcerer, but Circle of Stars does not get extra spells, but Circle of Wildfire does, so who knows what's going on design-wise. But originally in the Unearthed Arcana, you got Firebolt at 2nd level as a Druid spell for you, and let's see. Once you gain access to these spells, you do not get Firebolt anymore. Interesting. I would have thought they would have kept that, but you don't. Okay, and then you have these new spells, and it is originally Locate Animal or Plants, Scorching Ray, Fireball, Plant Growth, Aura of Life, Fire Shield, Flame Strike, and Raise Dead. We now get Burning Hands. Okay, so we get more, though, because you see the original table here. Let me zoom in. It started at 3rd level, so when we got 2nd level spells, but... which is something I haven't heard anybody mention. Everybody's focus is the fact that they don't have Fireball, but they got 2 more spells. I don't know if anybody noticed that. So you used to get them at the levels you'd get new spells. 2nd level, 3rd level, 4th level, 5th level, right? 3, 5, 7, 9. You now get 2 at 2nd level when you get access to this class. 1st level spells, Burning Hands and Cure Wounds, which those are 2 great spells. Cure Wounds, always prepared as a druid, nice to have. Then we had Flaming Sphere and Scorching Ray, so we lost Locate Animal or Plants for Flaming Sphere. I'm fine with that choice. 3rd level, we had Fireball and Plant Growth. Okay, I get everybody wanted the Fireball Druid. I don't discount that, but we got Revivify instead. So low-level Resurrection Magic is super good. So I can't really fault it for that. Then Aura of Life and Fire Shield remains the same. And then it was Flame Strike and Raise Dead, and they changed it to Flame Strike and Mass Cure Wounds. I would have preferred to have Raise Dead personally, but Mass Cure Wounds automatically prepared again, a nice to have. And then again, like I said, we lost out on Firebolt, which is kind of a bummer. And then we have the Wildfire Spirit, the kind of cool fox thing we saw, and it's sort of the whole deal that you have here. And once again, as I've been discussing as we've been going through, I love the concept of taking a class's existing mechanic and making it unique as a way to make an interesting subclass. And what do we have? That's what happens here. The Wildfire Druid can expend their wild shape to summon this Wildfire Spirit, which is awesome. So it's an action to summon it in the Unearthed Arcana here. It appears in an unoccupied space of your choice within 30 feet. Each creature within 10 feet of the spirit, other than you, when it appears, must make a dex save against your spell save DC or take 2d10 fire damage. And then I'm going to kind of skip over this because all of the things right here are going to basically be updated to the new pet rules, and then we have the stat block. So let's see. It is still an action to summon it. It is still within 30 feet. Each creature within 30 feet of it, when it appears, must make a dex save. So it was 2d10 fire damage that has been decreased to 2d6. And then it's going to have the same sort of phrasing we have for everything now. It takes the dodge action unless it takes its turn immediately after yours, unless you use a bonus action to command it to take an action from its stat block or any other action. It lasts for 1 hour or until you summon the spirit again or until you die. That is the same. So it says, so here, which is interesting, it says for 1 hour until it's reduced to 0 hit points, until you use this feature again, or until you die. Originally, it was 1 hour until it's reduced to 0 hit points, or until you use your wild shape again. So this is interesting because you could technically summon your Wildfire Spirit and then go into wild shape, whereas originally you could not. Let's take a look at these stat blocks and see. So originally its hit points were the Spirit's Constitution modifier plus your Wisdom modifier plus 5 times your level in the class. It's now just 5 times 5 times your level, which is kind of a bummer. It used to have 20-foot walking speed, 30 feet hover. They upped the land speed, so it's 30-30. Looks like the stat block is the same. It is still immune to fire. It still has the same condition immunities that it had before. It still has dark vision of 60 feet. And then it'll have sort of, it says, okay. Does it have the other bits that they normally have? Because I'm going to say here, this one is proficient with saving throws and some skills. Let's see. Spirit is friendly to you. See the game statistics, which uses your proficiency bonus. Let's see. Use action. So that's interesting. It does not have any saving throw proficiencies or skill proficiencies. Some of the other ones we've seen say that they use, they just add your proficiency bonus whenever they make an ability check or saving throw. But it looks like it doesn't have that. I'm just confirming this here. Some spirits take humanoid form in combat, shares your initiative count. Takes the dodge action. It can be that or some other action. If you're incapacitated, it can't do anything. It can do other things other than dodge. Yeah. So it does not have proficiency with any skills or any saving throws, which is kind of a bummer. Because originally it had this soul bond thing, which was the following things increase when your proficiency bonus increases. But its action has Flame Seed. Originally it was a range of 30 feet. That has increased now to 60 feet. It was a +4 to hit. It is now your spell attack modifier. And it was a d6 + 2 fire damage. It is now a d6 plus your proficiency bonus in fire damage. And it had this ability called Fiery Teleportation. Originally, it was a recharge on a short or long rest. The spirit and each willing creature of your choice within 5 feet of it teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space. Each creature within 10 feet of the space the spirit left must make a dex save or take spell save against your spell save DC, a d6 + 2 fire damage. It now says the spirit and each willing creature of your choice within 5 feet of it teleport up to 15 feet. Each creature within 5 feet of the space you left must make a dex save or take a d6 plus proficiency bonus fire damage. So, a couple of things changed on this one. They removed the recharge, so you can do this every turn if you want. They cut the movement speed down from a 30-foot teleport to a 15-foot teleport, and the damage that you dealt is now to creatures within 5 feet of the space you left rather than 10 feet, but is a d6 plus proficiency bonus damage. I'm I like the range of the 30-foot teleport, but it's a 15-foot teleport for you and like all of your allies. And it's doable every turn now. And it does damage too, so it can be pretty useful for battlefield control, for regrouping the party, for crossing small chasms, reaching a higher ledge. So it has a lot of utility, especially, I guess, before it had more range, so you could use it, but you'd have to wait to use it again. This time, though, it has potential uses out of combat because you can use it consistently. All right, so at level 6, we originally had Enhanced Bond. While it's present, whenever you cast a spell that deals fire damage or restores hit points, roll a d8, and you gain a bonus to one roll of the spell equal to the number rolled. In addition, when you cast a spell with a range of other than self, it can originate from your Wildfire Spirit. So now, let's see. Whenever you cast a spell that deals fire damage or restores hit points, roll a d8. You gain a bonus equal to the number rolled to 1 damage or healing roll of the spell. Yeah, and you can originate from that. Okay, so that looks like that stayed the same. I just wanted to make sure they didn't do anything funky with the wording. All right, and then we had originally Flames of Life at level 10, which was a larger, smaller creature that you can see dies within 30 feet of your Wildfire Spirit. You can use your reaction to cause primal flames to spring from the body. When a creature you can see touches these flames, the creature regains hit points or takes damage of your choice equal to 2d10 plus your wisdom modifier. The flames vanish after a creature has touched them or after 1 minute. You can use this wisdom modifier times per long rest. This is now called Cauterizing Flames, and it's still a smaller, large creature dies within 30 feet, and now it's of you or your spirit, so depending on how you split yourself up, this could cover a lot more ground. Harmless Spectral Flame appears there for 1 minute. When a creature you can see enters this space, you can use your reaction to extinguish the flames and either heal the creature or damage them 2d10 plus your wisdom modifier. So the damage stayed the same and is now proficiency bonus times per long rest as opposed to wisdom modifier times per long rest. So I like that they made it you or your spirit. That gives you a lot more space. If you and your spirit are right next to each other, it doesn't matter. But if you're spreading out on the battlefield, that can give you a lot of options to how you want to use that. And lastly, originally the 14th level ability was called Blazing Endurance. If you drop to 0 hit points and don't die outright, you can drop to 1 instead and gain temporary hit points equal to 5 times your druid level. And each creature of your choice within 30 feet of you that you can see takes fire damage equal to 2d10 plus your druid level. So that's a pretty big Nova ability. You go down, you pop up to 1 hit point, get at that point a ton of temporary hit points. And you can also damage people. This is a very Phoenix-like ability, right? You go down, you pop back up, and then you're damaging everybody. 2d10 plus your druid level. Let's see how we landed here. Okay. The bond with your Wildfire Spirit can save you from death. If the spirit is within 120 feet of you when you are reduced to 0 hit points and thereby fall unconscious, you can cause the spirit to drop to 0 hit points. You then regain half of your hit points and immediately rise to your feet. Once per long rest. I like the original one better. It's nice, if the spirit's within 120 feet, it gives you half your hit points, which is not bad. But, 5 times your druid level and temporary hit points could almost be better depending on how your stats are. But it's essentially like a 14th level. It's a freebie Death Ward plus, right? When you would go to 0, you'd go to 1. But I like that in the original one, it also didn't cost you your spirit. This does. And that's kind of a bummer. And this one also, you popped back up and did damage. But maybe that was the thought process. Like, it was very Phoenix-y. And this isn't the Phoenix Druid. This is the Wildfire Druid. One could argue they have a similar, they can fulfill similar roles. But I don't know. So I am a little bit bummed about the 14th level ability. I think overall, though, I like it. Again, yeah, everybody focuses on the lack of Fireball, and I don't disagree with you. Fireball is a nice spell to have. I would have liked to have it. Also, I thought it was weird to just ditch Firebolt as a cantrip, but they did get 2 first-level spells, which I feel like, again, is always consistently overlooked. So that is it, folks, for the Circle of Wildfire Druid. I just love that art. I would actually buy a print of that art and just put it on the wall because I think it's so good. Yeah, that's the Wildfire Druid. Again, it's the one that has interested me the most. if, you know, if we keep up with the theme we've seen in the new Unearthed Arcana, where we have things like the dragon subclasses and the sort of like spooky undead classes, I would love to, like, I don't know if that's the theme that we're going to be getting new. Like, we got 2 that were undead themed, 2 that were dragon themed. Or is it going to be like 2 that are aberration themed or 2 that are elemental themed? If it's an elemental druid, I'm going to be pissed because druids already have enough elemental stuff. Give me a dragon druid or a druid that can wild shape into a dragon. That'd be awesome. Everybody wants to be able to turn into a dragon, even if it's like a drake. Like the Drake Warden Ranger was like, it summoned a drake, not a dragon, but let me turn into a drake as a druid or some other fun draconic thing. I don't know. Anyway, folks, that's it for me. We're gonna dive into fighters next. And I really, really like the Psy Knight fighter, but the Rune Knight fighter's kind of grown on me too. So, I don't know. Be sure to stay tuned, and I will see you all next time.